The galaxy did not call Earth a death world at first. That designation came later, after the data was reviewed, corrected, and reviewed again. At first, Earth was logged as a statistical anomaly. Too much gravity for bipedal endurance, an atmosphere chemically aggressive to unprotected lungs, magnetic storms that disrupted orbital navigation, seismic instability that made permanent cities irrational. Most worlds settle into equilibrium. Earth never did. Storms crossed continents without warning. Oceans devoured coastlines, then retreated. The ground itself rebelled, cracking open, swallowing cities whole. And the dominant species evolved anyway. That alone should have ended the debate. First contact with humanity occurred in a neutral corridor near the Perseus Drift. The location was chosen for its irrelevance. No strategic value, no population centers, no reason for conflict. That was the first miscalculation. Their ships arrived without ceremony. No formation displays, no synchronized emergence, no attempt to impress. They simply appeared and held position. Their vessels were not elegant. No flowing hulls, no radiant energy fields, no artistic symmetry. They were functional. Every surface scarred, not decorative damage, not ceremonial etching, impact scoring, thermal blistering, hull patches welded over older hull patches. Every system redundantly layered, power routed through secondary conduits backed by tertiary lines, manual overrides visible even at range. Every weapon was exposed, accessible, visibly maintained by hand. Human ships looked like tools, not symbols. Tools are built for repetition, for wear, for failure, and continued use. That observation was logged, flagged, and ignored. The humans themselves were worse. They boarded the neutral platform without escort vessels, without defensive screens, without visible concern. They wore no ceremonial armor, no intimidation displays, no evolutionary warnings, no extended claws, no color-shifting skin, no pheromonal threat markers. They wore simple uniforms, practical, unadorned, and they smiled. A bare-teeth expression, an ancient predatory signal that most spacefaring species had evolved past. Our delegates adjusted posture, dilated threat-sensing organs, prepared countersignals. The humans did not react. They spoke softly, politely, their vocal range narrow, controlled, carefully modulated. No dominance tones, no submission cues, no emotional leakage. They introduced themselves by function, not by lineage, not by genetic authority. Logistics officers, fleet coordinators, strategic analysts. That was unusual. Most species present warriors first, or diplomats, or rulers. Humans sent planners. They asked questions. Too many questions. What are your primary supply routes? How many cycles of reserve fuel do your fleets maintain? What level of autonomy do your field commanders possess? We assumed curiosity, exploratory ignorance, new species behavior. So we answered. They nodded, smiled, took notes, then asked follow-up questions. How fast can your fleets redeploy if interdicted? What redundancy exists in your command hierarchy? What happens if those redundancies fail? Silence followed. Our delegates exchanged signals, caution markers, threat probability rising. The humans noticed. They apologized, sincerely. They explained that humans preferred to understand systems before relying on them. They thanked us for our transparency. They offered trade, joint research, mutual defense discussions. Then they departed. No threats issued, no warnings given, No demands made. Only smiles. It was logged as a successful first contact. Relation status. Cautiously optimistic. The correction came later. Much later. When we realized those questions were not curiosity. They were not diplomacy. They were targeting. The Carthal Empire attacked 3 cycles later. The decision was unanimous, efficient, routine. Humanity was classified as technologically inferior, politically fragmented, strategically immature. The invasion plan reflected that assumption. They brought fleets, not patrol groups, not expeditionary forces, full armadas. Orbital superiority was established within hours. Human defense platforms were outdated, sparse, predictable. They were eliminated with minimal losses. Planetary bombardment followed. Precision strikes at first, infrastructure, power grids, transportation hubs, then saturation. Cities burned, atmospheres ignited, oceans boiled along the coasts. The Carthal expected resistance. They prepared for orbital counterattacks, for desperate fleet actions, for last-stand engagements. None came. Humanity did not contest space. No fleet surged upward. No missile clouds rose from the surface. No final transmissions were broadcast. They let the cities burn. This was interpreted as collapse. A species overwhelmed, leaderless, broken. The Carthal advanced to Phase 2. Ground occupation. Landing zones were selected near population centers, secured with overwhelming force, and found to be empty. No civilians, no government officials, no organized resistance. Only ruins. Only silence. Scans confirmed vast subterranean networks. Cities beneath cities. Facilities beneath oceans. Installations carved into bedrock. Humanity had not fled. They had gone underground. Distributed. Compartmentalized. Disconnected by design. The Carthal called it surrender. They issued occupation declarations, claimed planetary assets, declared victory. Celebrations began aboard command vessels. Then the first convoy failed to arrive. No distress signal, no debris field, no explanation. It was logged as a navigational error. Then a second supply group vanished. Then a fuel tender. Then a communications relay went silent. The failures followed no pattern. No single region. No single method. No identifiable attacker. Logistics officers began revising projections. Fuel reserves dropped faster than expected. Ammunition stockpiles failed to replenish. Repair cycles stretched. Command dismissed concerns. Humans were hiding. Humans were afraid. Humans were finished. Then a planetary garrison stopped responding. No combat alerts. No evacuation request. No survivors. The installation was intact. Power online. Weapons secured. Doors sealed from the inside. Every Carthal soldier was gone. That was when the word surrender was quietly removed from official reports and replaced with a new designation: insurgency. Human counterattacks were not glorious. They were methodical. Convoys vanished. Command nodes went dark. Communications degraded. Humans did not aim for victory. They aimed for attrition. Their doctrine was simple. If you cannot win today, make sure the enemy cannot win tomorrow. The Carthal withdrew. They believed the war was over. Humanity disagreed. Because humans do not measure war in battles. They measure it in memory.